All right. Hello, hello. Welcome all to this call, the last day of the Wall Street week. How was it, guys? How was it? How did you like the Wall Street week? Drop some feedback in the chat. Drop in the chat if you learned something, if it actually was helpful. I would love to get some feedback. Amazing. Amazing, my friend. I would love to hear some feedback, guys. If anyone wants to come up and just unmute yourself and drop some like something that really like stuck with you, like your biggest breakthrough that you had during this week, unmute yourself and just talk about it real quick. Like just give a quick testimony. If anybody wants to speak up. Come on, guys. What's going on? Unmute yourself. Yalla. What's up, guys? Give your feedback, please.
Okay, I want to speak.
Thank you, Benjamin, for not leaving me hanging. Thank you so much. Guys.
Right. So I really liked the training about the compound interest, because a lot of people are thinking that if they put like $200, they can't make money. So it's really interesting if you grow your account like 2, 3, 4, 5% a day, what result it can give you. Also, I liked the lives from Nate. I'm always watching them on the WoW platform, and seeing his lives is really amazing. So thank you for this week.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing this. Appreciate you for speaking up on here. Anybody else? Laura, perfect. Let's go.
Hey guys, what's up? So
Being always the first to speak up in the chats with all these ones, but when it's like speaking up here, like nowhere to be found. Hey, what's going on? I'm calling you
right here. So I have to agree with Benjamin because, in the previous company, to be honest, I lost a lot of money and I got really scared of trading. And I was like, oh my God, like, what if this is not going to work out and everything? And so I had these like negative thoughts on every single trade. And obviously it affected the trade, which seriously, like not a lot of people think about this, but you have to be like going in with a positive attitude. And I was talking to Geraldine the other day. I was like, oh my God, like, I don't know what's happening. Like all these trades are going like minus and negative and then boom, the next day, it was like day 2 into the trading challenge, into the Wallstreet challenge. And my trade started to go up. And I was like, manifesting this. I was like, I'm making money this week. Like we're doing this challenge. I'm like learning and shit. And so it's so good. It's so like important to go in with a positive attitude. And I didn't have that for the longest time. And I was fucking scared. I was so scared of trading. And right now, I'm just like going in and like learning to have fun trading again, which is like the whole point of this. Like I started like drawing the charts for the first fucking time. I was confident enough to go out there and like make mistakes. I'm going to fail my way to success. And I was listening to that on the YouTube channel today. And I was just like, oh my, this makes so much sense. Like people want to go to success and be like perfect and like have no failures and like make everything like 100% perfectly fine. It's not going to happen. You have to fail. You have to learn. You have to make mistakes. And right now I'm learning from my mistakes and this makes me fucking proud. And thank you for all of this.
I'm so proud of you. I saw that the other day. I hope you all was doing your homework, guys, from David's call. Okay. So, yes, guys, thank you so much for sharing that. Really appreciate that. And I think, I can tell you honestly the same. And I feel like I actually had a call today with somebody else that doesn't matter. Anyways, he's in a complete different, like also network marketing, but in a different industry. And we actually talked about that, like especially people that are coming from previous platforms. They are so devastated and so like traumatized literally with trading. And it's really important to build that up again and really, start to trust the trading again and start to trust yourself again and really being able to let yourself into that type of mindset that you you really need to develop here on this platform, right? And for that, we were doing that. So I hope the purpose of it it's actually being fulfilled. And I want to bring up somebody really special here on this call. Okay, he's in our Bay team, and I think he's always dropping hints here and there, always spreading the news and really helping us a lot when it comes to to trading, right? But I feel like we could all just leverage that more, because we do have, two amazing educators within our Bay team, guys. And if you're just, having any questions, you can always feel free to reach out and ask right away, right? And not being shy about it. And there's nothing wrong with having questions. You just have to ask them, right? So for that, we actually came up with the idea to have one of these educators here on our call today. So his name is Nate. He's, blessing us all the time with his gold trades on the Titan app. I'm super happy that he committed today to be on this call and just answer a lot of questions for you guys. So I hope you all have your questions ready, guys. Like this, you really have to make sure that you're actually realizing what that means to have an educator privately on a call answering questions for you guys. Usually you have to pay thousands and thousands of dollars to have like private sessions like this, to have a Q&A like this. So he's here for you guys today to answer all of you guys' questions when it comes to trading. So yes, thank you so much for doing that today with us. Nate, the stage is yours.
Well, first of all, thank you for the invite. Guys, if you want to give it back to, everybody who set this up, throw some sevens in the chat box. You'll notice I like the number 7 a lot. So this actually is big for me, believe it or not, because this is the 4th or 5th, like this is the day that equals my 4th month on this platform. And so she said, this is gonna be like a QA. And so by all means, please ask all the questions you guys want. That's one thing I did. Mr. Nick Gregorio was part of, I guess I could say he was part of the come up, because like when I met Nick, I was year 3 or 4 in the game of trading. We met in a prior company. I did build that company, but my mindset was always trading first. And, that's what I kind of led with. And I'm sure we can all attest that companies like this are huge when it comes down to connection bases, networking. And then we have the whole platform itself, which not to compare, but I'm pretty sure other people had the same interests in other companies to learn skill sets like this, but they didn't have the resources like B has. So, if you feel like that this is a platform that's helped you at least level up a little bit, would you guys put some flame emojis in that chat box? Because, before I got on the platform, I did my dotted my I's, crossed my T's, and made sure that if I was going to put my name on something, that it was legitimate. And so 120 days in, I would say that it's pretty legit. So my goal here is to answer any questions you guys have and hopefully build some clarity within yourself. So I'm going to leave the floor to anybody to unmute themselves, to ask those questions that you've had in your own head when times are tougher, to kind of go back to what Laura was saying, like, you do have to be positive. Like, you absolutely do, because my mentor told me a long time ago, you could be the best trader. There's a day that comes like NFP or a news day and you get a bad trade, you lose all that confidence. Same thing goes with building a business. It's like, you have momentum, but once you lose that, it's like, where'd the confidence go? So by all means, ask your questions. I'll be glad to give you my insight at least. So I'm going to leave that floor open to anybody who does have questions. I'll look in the chat box or just unmute yourselves, really.
Yes, guys, if you want to ask a question, just unmute yourself and I will try to find you guys and put you, add you to spotlight. So feel free. Also, to anybody who doesn't want to speak up, who just want to put the question in the chat box, you can do that now. Make sure to ask all the questions that you have. It doesn't matter what kind of question it is, okay?
Yeah, there's no stupid question in a skill set that is continuous. I guess I'll ask the first question. Do you guys get anything out of the calls that you guys join? Like, would you say, not even just mine, but would you say that you're implementing it towards your own personal skill set? That's the first question I would have for you guys. But while you guys are waiting for questions to ask, and don't feel shy, you really can't feel shy. What's the longest tenured? Oh, there's a question from Nick. How did I manage the greed factor? So that's a good question. I remember being in a kitchen one time and I was up on a trade, $4,000. And I was with my boy. I was like, hey man, do you see this, bro? And that was a time when I didn't really understand what support and resistance was too well. And so it took me out of the trade quick. I went from 4K to 0. And overall, it was just a bad feeling. So what I did was I just understood where I was failing. And I went back to the drawing board and I started studying some more on like the pairs that I trade and, you know, the time frames that I traded in. And overall, to kill the greed, I just didn't want to feel that way anymore. You know what I'm saying? You got to get to a place where you're just like, I'm tired of feeling like this, and change it all up. Laura said, why do I only trade gold? So good question. When I first started out, I traded the Australian dollar versus the US dollar. I traded euro versus the US dollar, and I traded US dollar Japanese yen. And now if you look at UJ, it's just a mess. But I got to a place where I was, I did have a shirt, yes. But I got to a place where I was like, you know what? I'm hitting these pairs left and right, but they don't pay as well as some of these other pairs do. And so I realized that I live in California, and the New York session was really, you know, still a big time frame or a session. And so gold was huge. And I realized that if I trade USD JPY and it's on a buy, gold is going to be on a sell. And when gold was on a buy, UJ was on a sell. So I would be like, okay, if I can understand when UJ moves, gold moves, I can trade gold, understand how price moves there, which in my opinion is easier, and I can make more money. So once I started trading gold, I was 27 years old. I'm 31 now, and I haven't had to go back to a job. So, you know, it was more so of how it pays, how it moves, the time frames it moved. And that's really important for you guys, like whether you're across the seas from the United States or if you're on the East Coast, like really the way that I would dictate what pair to trade is by time frame. What time you wake up, does it move at that time? Because if you take let's say you take a signal and it does not go your way, you're like, what the heck? Am I even going to come up from this? You still need to do your due diligence and figure out if that pair that they're calling out, that I'm calling out, is it in the time frame that's going to best benefit you? You know, this is a you skill set. So I would say that's what really got me trading gold. But I do recommend you guys following my lead too, because just understand, like I'm sure David's the same way, and I'm sure Gus and all of them are the same way, but it really is about you guys. You know, like we are not here if it wasn't for you guys, you know. So that's my 2 cents on that. But feel free to ask more questions. These are fun.
Can I ask, with how much money did you start when you first started trading?
Yeah, I started with $200 and I blew that account. Started with 500, blew that account. I blew 29 accounts, but sorry guys, wrong call. No, but the truth is we got to a place one time where we took 1,000 to 5,000, and I was like, this feels good. You know, my mindset I had to leave the I'm gonna hit the big one mindset, because you try to get something quick and it's not going to stay for long. You know, there's a story I told people on Wow one day where we took $200 to $21,000 in 8 days. And we did. It was an ex NFL player that actually made the money with us. And he had lost 18K in the market. And Nick said, how do I avoid chasing trades? This was it right here. This is going to be that answer. We figured that if we got the right trades, even if we over leveraged, which I don't think you guys should do, even with over leverage, the right trades can profit very well. So the way, like, once again, going back to the sessions, Nick, like if you know gold moves during New York, which is all the trades we took to get to 20K, then you know that gold will move in this case 40 pips. It'll go 40 pips and it'll stop. It'll reverse until it finds another area of resistance or support and move more. So once we understood the movement of that market for that specific time session, we figured out that we could time you can't really time the market, but we did our best to time the market. And you just become profitable that way, man. That's why I tell people you need to back test. You need to, you know, like, who here listens to Ed Milet? Anybody know who Ed Milet is? He's a pretty influential guy. Talks about, you know, wearing different caps throughout the day. He talks about, you know, from 6 a.m. till noon is one day, noon till 6 is another day, and 6 till midnight is the third day. And that's how you get all this work done. And so I actually wake up at 4:30 in the morning every morning throughout the week. And the reason being is because I know 5 o'clock in the morning is going to show up, and that's when the market's going to have an opportunity to give you guys its first legit move, because that's when all the volume in the market is there. So I'll start trading for the New York session, but throughout the day, I know it moves at specific time frames. But if you guys are just looking at markets throughout the day and don't have a specific session that you're just chilling in, not doing any other work, and how you have the cap on of just trading, you'll win that way. But if you have all this stuff going on, you won't win in this game. I'm gonna be very transparent this call. This game will knock you out faster than you ever have a chance, because it's a $1 trillion market for a reason. People lose their bread. So if you like trading gold, and it might be because of the way that I trade gold, I would recommend New York session. That's when the most volume is in the market. So to answer the question of what time do I start trading? Now, so Patrick said, ditch the gambler's mentality, it leads to blowing accounts fast. 100%. It does. But don't be afraid to blow accounts, guys. I actually recommend people doing live accounts more so than demo, even if it's $100 using a 0.01. You need to have that feeling of what it's like to profit, and maybe even withdraw $5, $10, $100. But if you don't have discipline, then you need to do a funded challenge. Why is that? Because it forces you to use correct risk management, correct lot sizes, not playing drawdown 100% of the time, and actually choose the right moves, or else you're not going to pass that challenge. And so though they're kind of meant to take your money, it's going to benefit you in the long run because of your opportunity of getting better. Dominic says, what are your favorite pairs each session? We've had the most success. I mean, I'm going to say gold 24/7, bro. And the reason why is because gold is a byproduct of the dollar. So if you look at the DXY, when that pushes up, gold pushes down. It's inversely correlated. So understand that in the New York session, you're going to get more so, like, for example, who saw Ray's call today and Gus's call where Nas just absolutely fell? That was a New York session call. So the indices move mainly in the New York session. Gold moves mainly in the New York session. If you go to the Tokyo session, which is, I go live from 1 p.m. to 2 Pacific time zone, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and the New York session ends at 2. You have an hour break, and then the Asia session gets ready to go. And that's when you'll see your Japanese yens move, the Sydney sessions in place. So you'll see GBP pairs move. And then once again, London hits, you're looking at gold and the indices again. So go ahead, Ms. Gabriella, you go ahead, and I'm going to mute this other channel real quick because it's blowing up right now. I apologize. So yeah, feel free to say whatever you want, ask whatever you want. I'll be very transparent, guys. I'll talk about my losses. I'll talk about everything that you guys want me to talk about.
Hey, Nate. Thank you, guys. I just wanted to just say thank you for always being very just answering any questions that I've had anytime I've reached out to you personally on Instagram and stuff. I feel a lot of people aren't always responsive like that, so I feel I'm grateful for that. And I feel I'm really excited. I just wanted to share with the team that I just put in my 2 weeks at my job, so I'm working my last week from my 9 to 5. So I'm really excited to be putting in more time and being able to tune into those awesome calls that you guys do have and stuff. So I'm just really happy and excited to see what's coming next for us and the team. So I'm really excited.
Congratulations to you.
To say thank you.
No, yeah, that's a big step. And of course, one thing about me is in this game, in any industry where you can make 6+ figures, I feel like you have to watch out for the free pride. And, as we get better at our skill sets and as we become people of stature, and, it's either you are walking in gratitude and not just saying it. Oh my gosh. Or you're going to fall. And
Yeah.
I hate to say the word fall, but the truth is, if you don't walk in gratitude and you don't treat people with respect, what makes people think that you're reliable? And at the end of the day, I started this skill set for myself, but God decided to put it elsewhere. I met people like Nick Gregorio, and I got to give it back to Nick G real quick because Nick is such a selfless person. If it wasn't for Nick, I wouldn't be on this platform. So Nick is a real one for that.
Yeah.
And he's hilarious, but Nick's a real one for that. And just as I would tell you, you're stepping into a scene where now you have to walk by faith because you're going to a 9 to 5 anymore. And so I would just say, what makes I'm pretty sure you're on the same page as me, but when you step into a new frequency of blessings, just understand hell's gonna come at you. And now it's time for you to recognize what hell looks like so that you can surpass that and go straight to your calling. So I'm happy for you.
Definitely. Thank you. I appreciate it.
All day. Yeah, thank you, Nick, bro. Said, where'd I get this tan? He's absolutely ridiculous. Anybody else have questions? We will ignore that.
When you're trading, like, would you recommend to focus when we're trading on like one currency pair as well and one strategy at the same time, or just take all the alerts from all these apps? Like, what would you recommend?
Ooh. Okay. We do get a lot thrown at us, people calling, I mean, not people calling, people sending out, like for example, today they sent out, Sebastian had a signal for USD CAD, you had NAS 100 get thrown out. At one point I threw a gold scalp out. Like you have all these signals being thrown at you. It's in your best interest to choose maybe 1 to 2. Maybe it's Gus and maybe it's Sebastian, because Sebastian trades Forex pairs and Gus does indices. Or maybe it's sticking with just gold and then maybe somebody who throws out a smaller moving pair. So, one thing I'll always say is please digest the information from WoW. Like if I talk about time frame correlation, like you definitely want to listen into those, because that's what changed the game for me. Because here's the deal, like today, either Gus or Ray, they threw out that NAS 100 sell and I counted, it was like 600 points. And he caught it off of a retest. But if I was to tell one of you guys like, hey, hit a retest, would you know what that means? You know what I'm saying? And so it's in your best interest to know what this stuff is. So like, can I ask how many out of all the 24 minus myself, who's all building a business here? Like, are all of you guys building a team? And if that's the case, the reason why I asked that question is I'm sure you all understand that takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of mind work. And if you're going to be a high achiever here, especially at B, you're going to have to put in hours, so I would say dedicate out of all the hours you have, whether it be with family or, eating or, building this business, take an hour away if you can, maybe 2, and just focus on the skill set. I know I'm biased because I used to put 8-hour days in or more, but I was also obsessed. You might need to become obsessed with both fields, the building and the trading, because if you lose a trade because of signals and you don't know why, that's very frustrating. So, I think it's in your best interest to choose 1 to 2 educators that you really trust. Utilize the Titan app or the Shift app where you actually see that winning percentage. And I mean, if you see that Sebastian 79%, then you're going to profit out of 7 out of 10 trades. So I would just utilize the apps. Do we have any like people in the chat other than Nick G that's traded over a year or 2? Is there anybody like that in here? Or are we
You're
all
making me just
pretty
feel
new?
old, bro. You're making me feel old, bro.
I know that you've been trading for a couple years because of the relationship. So, I gotta make sure that, because here's the deal, if I'm talking a language, because of the, the tenureship 7 years in that nobody can understand, then I'm not doing anybody a service, Gabriella said I trade for a year, but not consistently. Dominic as well. Okay, so who here sees themselves trading longer than a year? Do you guys see yourselves utilizing the skill set moving forward, or do you guys just see yourselves taking signals? That's the real question you should ask yourself, because I know it would feel better knowing that you have the skill down pat to where even when you're building your business, you can take trades and profit while you're doing so. That's a good feeling.
Yes, guys, I
So,
just want to share that story real quick, as we're having here like a little close talking call. For me, I started within the previous platform, right? And I was I was joining just because of the trading. I didn't even know it was network marketing before. So I joined for the trading side, right? I really wanted to learn the skill set. I really wanted to just build something that I have control over, right? Because when I lost my job, I realized that I don't have control about my income, right? And trading was for me really that that glimpse of hope that I can finally have control about my income and making money, right? So when I joined and I really like started to learn about it, I found it really interesting, and really I was seeing success, right? I was putting my own trades, like having some small little beginner analysis, right? But then kind of on the way like to the ranks, just as Nate said, like I put so much time into building and I literally just forgot about it. I literally just I didn't have the time. And it's with all the other things, like you really have to realize that you have to make priorities for this, right? If you want to build this business sustainable, if you want to like stand behind a company 100%, you have to become a product of the product. You have to, learn the skill set and take some time out of your day to really, look behind the products and the platforms. Like we have, wow, like how many people of you guys actually already been on one of the live sessions, like completely and not like on your phone? But I'm guilty of that because I'm like always so busy on my phone that I cannot even like take my phone aside. I really like when I joined B, I had to force myself that I am just, not on my phone and just constantly listening for a while on what the trader had to say, right? And not my Instagram and whatsoever. So I'm just really grateful for this trading week because honestly, it was always also for me a huge step forward into actually, taking more time for the skill set and really learning and starting all over because I got lost in the process. I was like so terrified of taking my trades because I had so many like bad experiences from the previous platform that I just literally, I was always saying like, I hate trading and I don't want to do this and stuff. And I was just like, let's just leverage the expert and copy paste the alerts. But it is such a better feeling. And I recently just started to, develop more on the WoW platform, on the Oracle platform, and just like doing my own thing and just really being quiet about it just for myself to really feel confident within myself. And it is definitely a better feeling when you really dive deep, like more deeper into it and just learn the skill set on your own by not just only relying on the educators, right? We have amazing educators, but also being able to understand what the educators are doing is a huge step forward for me personally. So this trading week been really amazing for me as well. Learned so much from David and also from you, Nate. And I always appreciate you for, helping me whenever I have any private questions. So just wanted to say that and share that with you guys.
Awesome. I will add to that, like, it's so easy to like go on Instagram and Facebook and see people with their profits, but you have to also keep in mind, guys, like, don't compare. Comparison is the thief of joy. And also, who's to say that those are real profits? You know what I mean? Like, if they're showing withdrawals, that's one thing. But if they're not, don't take it for what it is all the time, Is there ever a time where when you've learned it all, like basically I have nothing left to learn? Is that what you're saying? I thought that until recent, truly I did. I thought that until recent. I was in a position where I was like, this is gonna move the way I want it to move, and it knocked me back. And what I came to find out was, in this skill set, I will continue to learn. Like, I'm in year 7 right now, but I was talking to a 10-year trader, a 15-year trader, and they were telling me things that they looked at that I didn't even look at. And I'm like, dang. And it's not even like their way of trading is different than mine. It comes down to the little pieces that we really don't talk about. Like, if I was to go over everything in one WoW session, it would take hours. You know what I mean? So like, in the hour that I'm given, I don't want to bombard people with information to the point where it's like, A, over their head, and B, overwhelming. Because if I was to really go into depth about what all it took and where I found this out and what year I learned it, some people might not have moved forward. But I will tell you, like, every time I go live on my WoW, my goal is to cut your guys' learning curve in half. And so, to answer your question in full, I still haven't learned it all, but I've learned enough to know that I don't need another job. And I say that with no ego. I say that because, I put the work in. And I believe that many of you on this call will do the same. Just because I'm in year 6 going on 7 and this is what I've learned, don't mean that you can't get that cut down into 2 to 3 years, but it will take that time. Dominic said, I learned a lot with the educators in this company. Seems to me like I know the company y'all came from without even any of y'all saying it. So, kudos. No, but, no comment. But, I will say, a lot of traders who get put in a quote unquote spotlight, that says spotlight right here on the Zoom call, they a lot of people, they can't take the pressure of eyes on them. And so therefore, there's a lot of capping in this industry. So I guess my hope for you guys is, when you get to a place of profitability, understand you're not going to be 10 for 10. Like, sure, last month I was grateful. I had some cancels, but sure, we profited on all the ones that profited 12 and or something like that. But that does not happen all the time. Like, the market is going to do what the market is going to do. That's why I post like, hey guys, NFP is today, or CPI news and stuff, because the last thing I want, if you notice, this is not a dig, no one puts hey, B family, like on the main Titan app or whatever, there's news today. We don't do that for some reason. We should. But the last thing I want, especially for this team right here, is people who are new and having a good day, a good week, and then all of a sudden they don't know news comes in and just wipes out all momentum. So, other than you guys doing your due diligence, I figured I would do my due diligence and just put you all in a winning position to the most of the possibility that I can. So that was a good question, Laura. That was a good question. Yeah, quality over quantity. If you trade gold, if you get one good gold trade, that can change a lot. If you go for 30 pips a day, you truly can change your game. And that compound sheet that I also posted in the B is Bay chat, use that, like whether you start with 3% for 30 days and then you move to 5% and you move to 7%, like challenge yourself. That's what I would say. But also like, don't feel like you can't ask questions. Like, yes, I'm an educator on this platform, but I'm still a human being. And I still ask people who I have questions to, like, hey, what is this? Like, ask me all the questions you guys have, because if I have an answer, I'm going to give it. But yeah, perfect, Nick. Perfect. Anybody else have questions? I asked mine. I asked how long you guys been trading. And
I asked all mine.
Okay, for sure.
I still want to know how you got the tan, bro. But we'll talk about this later in private. You
sure,
live local to me. The sun is finally out today.
Genetics, man.
Genetics. It's all right, bro. We've been to Miami. I've seen you white, so it's okay.
Very true. Yeah, no, I'm grateful.
Just
I am grateful.
Guys,
go ahead, Nick.
go ahead.
No,
No,
you
go ahead, bro. Go through. No, you go ahead. I said you
I'm
first.
grateful for Nick because like Nick and we've known each other for 3 going on 4 years, and Nick, depending on, it doesn't matter what company we met each other in, Nick put 100% there, and Nick is putting 100% over here too. So even though Nick's not an educator, Nick does have answers. He's a trader as well. So I know he builds, and that's one of his passions. But Nick is somebody who I would always recommend to people, especially if you want the truth. Nick's going to give you the truth. Nick's not going to sugarcoat it, but even if he doesn't sugarcoat it, it's still going to be kind and generous. And, I just wanted to give it back to him for 30 seconds. So
I appreciate that, man. Guys,
yeah,
I'll give it back to Nate, guys, because if it wasn't for Nate, I would have gave up on trading. You guys, I don't think you understand. Like, you guys are probably some of you are probably in that space. Maybe not so much right now while you're on this call, right? Because you're feeling really good about it, but then you go back to doing what you're doing, and then you lose a trade or two, or things aren't going your way. You don't feel like you're catching on, right? And that's where I was when I was learning. And the thing is that I literally I was like, okay, I'm about to be done with this. I'm about to go get a job at McDonald's. Like, that's how I was thinking. I was like, this is crazy, right? And then thank God, like, we got connected with Nate, and he got a part of our organization, because he sat down with us. He would meet up with me in Roseville. He'd meet up with me anywhere, Folsom, El Dorado Hills. You guys don't know these places because half of you are from like Europe, but like in our local area, right? He would meet up, and he would sit down and take the time and really show us like what was like you said, no sugarcoating, because I can tell you what, there's a lot of people in this industry that'll give you just enough. They'll breadcrumb you just enough just to keep you around. Nate's like, hey, dude, like, look, this is what it is. And I used to send my charts to him, like, how does this look? And I used to annoy him. I used to ask Nate so many questions. I don't know if you remember this, but like my biggest thing was like, hey, taking my own trades, being confident taking trades. Like, I was on demo for a minute, and because of him, guys, I tell you what, he made it so simple. He made it so simple that he gave me the confidence to be. He's just like, dude, just do it. Just get in. Trust yourself. Even if he knew I was gonna lose the trade or not, I don't know, but he helped me build my confidence. And you guys just have to do it. You have to jump. You have to take a leap of faith. Like, I sent a message in the chat last night. I was talking about Thomas Edison, right? His mom got like something that was very negative towards her son, and then he went out there and made him believe that he was not that, because he didn't know. He had no idea. He only knew what she told him. So the thing is that you have to tell yourself every single day, whenever doubt creeps in your mind, you guys got to tell yourself every single day, I'm mastering this skill. I am learning the skill every single day. I'm surrounded by people that want to see me win and that want to help me elevate.
Thanks.
Like, Nate didn't have to come on here. Nate could be chilling in his nice Tesla, driving around, having a good time. He could be doing whatever he's gonna do, right? Nate, dude, Nate, You live the life, bro. We're so blessed to have you. You know, it's an honor, man. Like, you don't have to give me all that gratitude, man. Like, truly, like, you deserve this. Like, I just have to say, guys, like, this man works so hard at his craft, and he talks about me being a servant of people. This man was really, really, really serves people to the ultimate level, guys, where he really wants you to win in these markets. And he, like I said before, he does not bullshit. Like, he will call it out. Like, why are you doing that? Like, why? Like, what are you doing that for? It's just unnecessary, guys. And he cuts through all the crap. And he's learned from some of the best in the industry, guys. He has those connections. And I can tell you what, if you guys plug in with him, get your people plugged in. This is why I promote gold. You guys want to know how I get people sold on gold? I promote Nate. I don't promote Titan. I promote Nate. I was like, if you want access to Nate, you have to get on gold.
Mm-hmm.
If you want access to one of the best traders and going to be one of the most recognized traders in the world, you have to get on gold and above, or else you're just hurting yourself.
Facts.
Why, why would you start anything less? So Nate, I'm gonna give it back to you guys, but I just had to come on here and just share, guys.
No, thank you, bro. 100%. I do appreciate those words, guys. Nick is a great asset, but I'm going to answer these questions real quick. Once again, thank you, Nick. Liana, is that how you say your name? The question is, what would you suggest to do when shift is open too late and trade? Okay, that's a great question. Guys, it's in your best interest. If you see a trade come out, this is for those who might not know how to read a chart just yet. If the trade comes out and you're 5 minutes late, if the window's 1 to 3 minutes and it's over, you know what I mean? Because you don't want to get, if you enter a trade late, that's the ball game. You're not in good, you might as well kiss it goodbye. And here's the thing, to piggyback off that, some people are like, Nate, well, how many take profits do I take? That is why it's important to understand the skill. Because you might not know if it's going to hit 4, 5, 6, or 7 take profits. So your mindset should be, okay, I'm up 30 pips. I'm going to call it good. That's what I would say to do. 15 to 30 pips, depending on the account size, go from there. The second question is, yes, I will be coming to the Germany convention. I will be there. I'm not looking forward to the plane ride, but I'll be there. Second, the other question is, do I have any preference with indicators? I do. I like the moving averages. I like the simple moving average. What I'll do on my next live on Tuesday, if you can please hop on that call, write it down on a note or whatever, and ask me to show you my moving averages. And I will be glad to show you that. I also use the TDI, which is useful for, it doesn't tell, like, understand that indicators can lag. So you don't want to necessarily go based off of those, but understand that the TDI or the ADX, those are the two that I would use. They're useful to know what type of volumes in the market. So, you know, more bulls are in the market, more buyers, more sellers, that type of stuff. So that is definitely my personal preference. I do believe less is more. So don't be like, I got Bollinger Bands and I got the Stoke, whatever. I got Ichimoku, Haiku Clouds. I got this, that, and the third, because you truly, you know how they tell you in sales, keep it simple. Just keep it simple. That's the best 2 cents that I can give you on that. So, is there any other questions? If not,
one question.
Yeah.
What would you recommend? Like, we have some might have some very, very new people on here. So what would you recommend on this platform? Like the very, very first step to do, like is it getting on the Shift app and like fulfilling the Forex Mastery courses, or actually getting on WOW directly? Like, what is it, what you would recommend as a total beginner?
Great question. So obviously, if you're at home and, if you have a family and stuff, take care of business, but go on WOW and go to the education part and go through the basics and the advanced. You really will need that. Now, as far as using Shift and the Mastery, I mean, why would you not? That's pretty clutch. That's absolutely clutch if you have this at your hands, no pun intended. But, use this type of stuff if you have the opportunity to, because once you get this stuff down, it'll be so easy to remember. You don't have to go back to that. You can absolutely move steps. And then while you're learning the education, like what a pip is, or, what a point is, or, what pair goes with this, the stuff that's on the education, tap into the WOW classes. Now, this is crucial. I talk about confluence trading, multiple confirmations, and break and retest, supply and demand. David talks about mitigation, different type of institutional trading. I think Ty does the same thing. So a lot of people get confused because they'll hit David's class and then they'll hit my class and then they'll hit this person and they'll hit that person, and you're really going in circles at that point. So if it comes down to results, guys, which it should in a way, follow the person that has the lifestyle or the results that you think would best benefit you. You know, it took me a couple years to get profitable. You know, it wasn't the first year, it wasn't the second year, but that doesn't mean that it can't be that way for you. So that's what I would say. Obviously, I'm extremely biased, so why would you not tune into my calls? But at the end of the day, I'm not selfish. You can choose whoever you want to listen to.
And
Does that
another question, just from interest, the alerts that you send out on the Titan app, all the gold alerts, are these the only trades that you're trading, or I think you trade much more than that? Like, how is that going with you? How many alerts you're actually sending into that platform?
Yeah, good question. So if you notice, everybody's sending every pair, and I'm the only one that trades gold. I think David was the last one to send a gold trade out, but then I hit like a bunch of gold trades in a row, and they're like, all right, Nate, you the gold trader here. So I was like, that's actually my goal. So I like GBP CAD. I like the indices, don't get me wrong, who doesn't? I just think that other than today, they've been extremely sporadic and I've just stayed away from them. For me, it comes down to the three things, and I stand by this. I have a pair that moves slower, I have a pair that moves at a medium pace, and then I have gold, and gold can absolutely move. But you know, I usually try to stick to gold to answer your question as well, because if I catch 50 pips on gold and I'm using a 1 lot or a 2 lot or a 5 lot, trust me, you don't need another pair. But I do recommend having that plethora of options, the 1, 2, and the 3. So behind closed, if you go on my wild sessions, we're looking at a bunch of different pairs. We're looking at the GBPs, we're looking at the USD CADs, and if I see a great setup, then I most likely will take it. But to be clarity filled, gold is definitely by far, for the last 5 years, my favorite pair.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Guys, do you have any other questions? If yes, drop it in the chat or unmute yourself.
Is everybody in their 20s on this call? Everybody like around 20s, late 20s, early 30s? Reason why I asked that, I was 24 when I first started. I'm 31 now. Time absolutely flies. But the reason why I say that is because look at it through the 2 to 5 year time frame. Like if you're 30 and you're like in year 1, you have to analyze where you're at 32, analyze where you're at 35. I guarantee you it's completely night and day different. Like I absolutely guarantee you it is. If you're 20, man, you ahead of the curve. 20 years old, you could be absolutely ridiculous by the age of 25. And some people look at that and go, but that's 25. Trust me, this skill set with this business and this company, time flies. So, you know, it's going to happen sooner than later. If you're going to hit 25, you might as well get rich. But I will say this, if you're entering this skill set going, I need to make money, wrong skill set. And I know that might not be what you guys want to hear, but like, hear me out on this. This skill set is a must, in my opinion. But if you're like, I'm scrambling for money, I have to trade, that's not the best mindset to enter this with, because it's never full of clarity. At that point, you're full of, I need. And when you need something, that means you don't have it, you lack it. So change your verbiage, and your verbiage will then change your life.
Love that one. Love that. Would you recommend anything what helped you a lot? Because I mean, you blew a lot of accounts, right? You started all over again a lot of times. So what would you recommend when you actually started to fully understand the trading mindset, like the importance of it? And what was, were you like listening to something specific, or did you read something specific?
So I got really obsessed with the idea of we can think and speak things into existence. I got really obsessed with like personal development because, you know, I was tired of being broke. You know, we hear that story all the time. You know, I was living at my mom's house. And so throughout the whole process of learning the skill set, you know, I would have my daily routine, which I think is very vital. You know, I would have, you know, The Strangest Secret on a lot, VYBO, which is a YouTube station. one of the things that I used to do was I would get in my car and I would go and I would be like, all right, God, what neighborhood are we going to? And I would stop in a random neighborhood. It didn't have to be mansions or nothing like that. And I would get out, and for 45 minutes, I would just put on personal development, like The Magic of Thinking Big by Claude Bristol. And you know, that type of stuff really changed the game for me, because it literally changed my mindset to believe that I could have all that I'm truly, you know, seeking. So if you don't do personal development, you're going up against the wall. You know, it's going to be difficult to achieve the things you want. So personal development, I had a belief. And in my case, you know, my mother is below the poverty level here in California. So that was also a big motivator.
All right, thank you. And I have another question. Am I the only one having questions, guys? Anyway, because we started the Funded Trading Account Challenge, right? What would you recommend? Because I feel like when I started the Funded Account Trading Challenge, it was a different mindset shift for me, because I knew it was not my money. Like, I knew that I paid for the account, but I was kind of like more chilled with you know, trading with that type of money, because I knew it's like, you know, not my own. So
Yeah.
what would you recommend with starting with a funded trading account? Like what kind of size to get started?
Got you. I get that question a lot. I don't like the 10,000 or the 25,000 because the margin for error is really small. I think if you're going to start off with it, if you're like Nate, I don't feel comfortable doing the 50K challenge, then sure, 25. But I think 50K to 100K, because it gives you more room for error. One thing to keep in mind is the pressure that can mount up. Try not to fall into that trap. You have to realize that this is going to force you to not have a lot of drawdown. Make sure your entries are good, because if you have, let's say you're down $2,500 in drawdown, they're counting that as a loss, no matter if you profit or not. So you're down 2,500, but you profit. That means you probably shouldn't trade anymore that day. So, you know, be aware of that. Like Nick said, 2 to 3%. Even if the trade goes in the right direction, sure, it might be frustrating. Practice that that mental game of, okay, I'm willing to lose only this much and I'm willing to profit this much. So for example, if you're doing the 100K challenge over a 30-day time frame, for the first 10 days, don't throw down any heavy lots, because you can't, they don't want you to win the challenge that quick. So, you know, throw smaller lots, smaller trades, and for the first 10 days, and then you can go heavy. I think it's like $335 a day for 30 days in a row will help you pass that challenge. So reverse engineer it. But 50K to 100K, I recommend, because that 10 to 25, like, it's going to be very difficult. If that helps.
Actually starting with a higher funded account, but using smaller, like very small lot sizes in the first 10 days.
I think so. That's what I did. Because, you know, let's say you go hard and you hit on all these trades and you do it within 9 days, they'll make you throw 0.01s the rest of the time so that you can pass it, because you hit it too early.
Okay, so you wouldn't recommend like smaller accounts, like 5K to 10K, for example, like, because obviously also the accounts cost money. So for some people who don't have that much, like, is it better to like start not a traded, like funded trading, or what would you say?
Okay, that's a good point. So there's two answers to that. A, you can do the ftmo.com 14-day free demo challenge and see where you're at mentally there, which I always recommend, because you don't want to just enter a challenge with never doing anything trading. So I would say start there. And then for the sake of capital purposes, if you're like, well, Nate, all I can afford is a 5 to 10K, at that point, you probably don't want to trade with your own capital anyway. So yeah, start with the smaller accounts. I do recommend that. I'm glad you brought that up.
All right.
But if you have capital and you know kind of what you're doing, don't start with the 10 to 25. But for that sake, yes, I do agree.
All right, okay. Yeah, well, that was all my questions. Guys, if you have any more, drop them right now, because otherwise I will just take back the call and announce the news that we have. Super helpful call. Amazing to hear that. All right. Well, then drop some sevens in the chat, as Nate loved the sevens. Drop some sevens in the chat. Thank you so much, Nate. That was such an amazing call. I'd love to get your insights, and just being, you know, here on this, yeah, kind of small round I really appreciate that we could be like super honest and just, you know, open up a little bit more about our past history with trading. And with that being said, guys, the trading week is not over. So first of all, I really like that challenge, not just only for myself, but also for the team, to get everybody closer, to have everybody on the same page and really fully understanding what we're actually doing here, right? Because I believe if we want to build this business, like if, you know, if you decide that you want to build this business at a certain point, you really need to make sure that you're having a strong base here, all right? Like I see companies failing left and right because, you know, people do not learn to do that, to really learn that skill set, right? And I really want to make sure that we're doing it different here in B. And even if that takes a little bit more time to really, you know, take our time to understand the skill set. So I think that's a really good idea, because we wanted to do this every single month from now on, having a trading week every single month, every single cycle. We want to have something similar to this, where we just come on and like do a challenge all together, you know, have some educators up on here, educate you guys and help you guys really become profitable. Okay, forget about making like this and this certain amount of money. Like the goal, and that is actually something that I personally learned as well, is becoming profitable on the long term. Okay, so that's what we want to do for you guys. Every single cycle we will come up with 1 week where we all do this all together, and to help the new ones as well. Exactly, Patrick. To really, you know, have everyone, you know, feeling secure with what they're doing, because we want to, you know, keep that customer retention rate actually at 90% within B. Okay, with that being said, guys, I got a lot of questions if we can actually invite people to these calls, and to just show this amazing opportunity also to help our builders, you know, spread the news and really show how much we're, you know, doing here for learning this skill set and, you know, helping our customers. So we decided that we want to make this public next week, guys. I'm super freaking excited. Look at this. We're going to have a whole freaking week, Trade with Bay, a free trial where you're able to invite people to your call. So anybody, like anybody can come. Okay, so from the 10th to the 12th October at 4 p.m. Eastern, so same time as we had now, we're going to have 3 days free days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. The first day will be all about setup and the company intro. Okay, we're gonna introduce what we have, like all the apps, and show everything and set up the accounts, show how to set up a broker account, show how to set up different demo accounts within the MetaTrader 4 platform, or for those people who cannot access the MT4 right now, having these type of platforms explained, because I feel like a lot of people just, you know, saw these things, and obviously people who are not educated within the markets, who don't have a clue about this, they don't know that there's alternatives, and it's none of a problem. We can fix that, right? So that will be the first day. And then the second day, guys, we will actually have David on here again with, you know, just sharing some basics of the Forex market, the indices market, and just having like kind of similar what we had for the day 2 here. And I'm super excited for that as well. And then the third day will be a closing day. So where we, you know, just talk about the opportunity, how to get started within that platform, showing the apps, and actually, you know, like the WOW platform and all of that kind of stuff. So 3 days all about trading for you know, prospects, for new people that are interested. You can share this flyer. I will drop it in the chat. You can share this flyer with your people. You can post it on your social media. And with the whole trading week, guys, we will be back basically next cycle. Okay, so stay tuned for that. We will announce it obviously before every single cycle. We will do something similar to this. I'm super excited for that. And yes, guys, that was it for today. I hope you guys liked the Wall Street week. We'll be back very soon. And yes, guys, let's promote the Trade with Bay trial. I'm super excited. Okay, wish you all an amazing evening, guys. See you in the chats. Bye.